Shalom, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Harakah HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere shalom to Yakin bringing out this word and diligence and the truth. And as you see, the articles from endtimeheadlines.org, and it says Trump administration on alert is deadly virus with no cure sparks COVID era quarantines, man. So I just wanted to get into some prophecy. Because ultimately, this is just another birth pain that Yahweh Shema Shai is bringing, to hit the world, man, right? And it's another form of judgment. There's Second Ezra 16:37. It says, "Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the ninth month bringeth forth her son. Within 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side." And we ultimately know that a Yahweh Shema Shai uses all forms of judgment, from earthquakes, so-called natural disasters, to pestilence, you know, to race riots, to the sword, is all forms of judgment, man. And this one in particular, speaking of what? Diseases, man, pestilence, great evils, as the scriptures tell you. This is just another form of Yahweh Shema Shai is going to bring ultimately bring forth chaos in Babylon the Great. Matter of fact, just thought of another precept. I want to grab it really quick. It's a lot here. This is coming from the book of Second Edges 15 and 11. And it reads, "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." Right? We understand in the ancient Egyptian empire, Yahweh Shema Shai, they brought forth 10 plagues into the Egyptians. It was the last one being the death of the firstborn, the babies. It's like the death of the firstborn of all the cattle and the people, right? But within those plagues, came forth, pestilent like effects, man. For example, boils, it caused the skins and lesions to be on people. Flies brought forth disease, frogs, bring forth warts, so forth and so on. So ultimately, Yahweh Shema Shai had his arm, stretched across the land of Egypt, and didn't allow those plagues to hit Goshen, right, which were where the nation of Israel was basically in safety, right. So Yahweh Shema Shai is going to bring them with the mighty hand and stretched our arms, right, ultimately covering forth the elect. That we understand, Lord will be those men that we have to endure these times. The judgment that these people receive versus the judgment that the elect receive is going to be completely different. So going into this article, it says Trump administration on alert as deadly virus with no cure sparks COVID era. It's like it's trying to be salty. 19 era health lockdowns. Got to speak in code, man. It says U.S. health officials are monitoring the deadly Nipah virus outbreak in India that has put nearly 200 people under surveillance and triggered the 19 era travel restrictions over fears of a fresh endemic, man. Right? And we understand the previous one, Esau blamed, Moab, right? Moab and Ammon. This one he's blaming Elon, which we understand, all the wickedness is being done ultimately through his hands, right? The scriptures tell us, that they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause them to fall. And as the scripture says here in the book of 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, that Satan shouldn't get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant, or blind to the fact that Esau will affect the country and then have that same pestilence come here so that he can ultimately gain control. This is what he does. Look at the history of when they came into the Americas, right? They didn't come in peace. They came with war on their mind, man. Right? The scripture says what? Uh, they're in their mouth. Matter of fact, I grabbed it out of the book of Isaiah, the 55th chapter. One second. It's like a Psalms. This is coming from the book of Psalms 55 and 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. Right? When he came over here to the Americas, and seeing Gad and Reuben, in peace, living in unity amongst one another, and he made sure to affect them with smallpox, with all different manners of diseases. Hey, they say that the common cold wasn't even something that was over here until Esau Edom came, right? But now you see with the wicked ruling, the people mourning. Now you got folks in India, going through this nipple, and them saying there's no cure for it. It says India's health ministry revealed Wednesday that 196 people who came into contact with infected patients are now being monitored. It says it can spread from person to person and kills 40 to 75% of those it affects. I believe that's called the mortality rate, man. So it has a 75% mortality rate, right? Which is crazy. It says this is 86 more individuals than yesterday, showing you that it's growing. So the same what you call it? The same 1 second. Ooh, here we go. I'll share this one instead. This is from the Daily Mail, right? It says India has so far confirmed 2 Nipah cases and 2 nurses, though local media report that 3 additional patients, a doctor, nurse, and another staff member also had symptoms, right? What he does is he makes sure that, he has a quota for all these different pestilences, man. And in this quota, he basically goes down through statistics and numbers, how many people he's willing to lose. We understand, according to the Georgia Guidestones, they went to a depop, down to about 500 million, right? From 7.5 billion to 500 million. And that's ultimately to gain a greater grip or control upon the public, man. And so this is not outside Esau's scope, nor his MO, man. When you take a look at the pattern of this man's track record, it deals with what? Diseases. It deals with pestilences. It deals with thinning the herd, so to speak, or the goyim, as they would tell you, right? Because look at the damage that the 19 did. It not only destroyed families and took individuals away, because it's still doing it, but it also did what? It weakened the economy. It took the middle class out of basically out of power. It destroyed mom and pop businesses, and it gave trillions of dollars unto monopolized companies. Your Walmarts, your Targets, your Trader Joe's, all these different stores that just became bigger because nothing else was open, right? So we're not ignorant that he would bring along another pestilence, to gain control, to ultimately get the public back in what you call it, in peace with him, right? Because every time something like this happens, fatalities, like it wasn't mortality, it's fatality rate. But every time something like this happens, what the people are begging for an answer. They're begging for a way to alleviate the pain, so to speak. And that's when he comes in and tells you, oh well, we have the cure. This is how you get rid of it. First, these are the safeguards. Put on your mask. Stand 6 feet apart, just like you did with the 19, right? Oh, take this bolus of chemicals, man. This is the cure. Matter of fact, everybody has to take it. One person not taking it, you know what happens? They can be affected. They can be affecting everyone else. This is the same script, right? It's the same script. It's just a different label on the pestilence that he's bringing, right? So speaking about the individuals in India right now that's being affected by this, right? It says following the news, Singapore and Hong Kong became the latest countries in the region to oppose travel restrictions on arrivals from India. So now they can then say Singapore and Hong Kong has it. And then guess what? says Wednesday, the UK also warned travelers about the outbreak. So now they can say the UK has it. Oh, and it's always going to be that one person that traveled where? From the UK, from Singapore, or from Hong Kong, or from India, right? So now it's on American soil. So now you need a lockdown on top of what? Civil war, because ICE is going in people's homes. A dang, what is that movie called, man? Basically, Songbird. Is it Songbird? One second, let me check. Let me double check this. Yep, this is it. Songbird. One second. Songbird synopsis. Right? Because he can have it to where ICE is now a medical unit. You know, checking for, making sure that people are, safe and healthy, right? And those that are sick, and he can militarily quarantine you, right? Here it goes. It says Songbird ending explained. It says the year is 2024. It says the 19 is mutated into the 23, and there is no end to the demic in sight. At least in the US, two distinct groups of people have emerged: those who have immunity against it and those who don't. The Moonies wear yellow bracelets on the wrist, identifying them as such. It's like, let me go into it. Identifying. Right? And do jobs that require field work. The other group of people must stay at home and check their temperature with their phones every morning. Those who are found to be infected are forcefully evacuated to Q zones, and guess who will come into their houses? It was the government, man. Troops. If they didn't checking their temperatures and take that selfie in the time allotted, their houses were being broken too, and they were snatched out of their house and sent to camps. He can enforce that, man, because he just gave ICE the go ahead to be able to break into people's houses, right? So now allow it to be a what you call it, a so-called quarantine enacted, man, right? Just speaking on how he gets down, we understand this devil's plans, right? We understand that nothing is there's nothing too crazy in his scope of instituting order, man, right? So he can institute some type of medical martial law, right? But we're gonna continue to see how this unfolds, because right now they're saying it's only in these countries, but we understand, just a month ago, people are all sick in the U.S., man, right? So this devil has his hands in it in some way, man, and we're sure of that. This is Matthew, the 24th chapter. I'll start here at the 6th verse, and it reads, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." Right? Famines and pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. When you go into that word pestilence, it's G3061, and it says what? Pestilence, a plague, disease, right? Diseases, man. So hey, this is just another thing, that's another occurrence that's about to become a woe, right? Another form of destruction, another scourge for amendment, right? He can just institute what he did with 19, but this time it never stems a recovery from it, right? Because that did damage. And he offed a lot of people. When you check your VAERS, right? The VAERS statistics, right? It basically was the statistical data taken for all the people who were affected and lives taken, and from accepting that concoction. I'll just say it that way, right? And you seen whether it was athletes, whether it was actors, people that you once knew that were healthy, and because it hit everyone personally. Everybody knows a person that was affected by that 19, man, right? We all do, right? And if not just one, multiple. So how much more this with a 75% fatality rate? That's high as shit. That means people are going to be just falling right in front of you, man. And that's something that we didn't see with the 19. We know he is going to ramp it up, especially knowing that he has but a short time, according to the book of Revelation 12, right? And look at this. Hey, that's the spirit, man. Damn. Inside the beast. I wish I could re-show that commercial. But you see his face being everywhere now because he was what ushering in the MOTB by um, that video that he did, man. That was posted to Twitter and all different social medias. And Yahweh Shimon Shai has had us do numerous videos on it. You know, the elders and other brothers alike. But right in this right corner, they had a video of Kim Kardashian. Oh, here it is. It called on Yahweh Shimon Shai. Look, and what is it talking about? The CHI to the P. Hey, so we're in those times, man. Prophecy is moving. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. I didn't click on that video. You know, I didn't. This isn't the link for it. But now it's a everyday occurrence, right? It's conditional gradualism. So hey, we're at a time of great prophecy, man. The end is nigh. So continue to watch, continue to be sober, and continue to pray. You know, do the things that's profitable into your spirit. And so Yahweh Shema Shai may protect you in the days that we're coming into. And cause soon shit is about to get shut down, and it's about to get real evil out here, man. So hey, that's the point. Not to make the lesson too lengthy. Hey, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Harakah Kodash. Double honors and to the apostles and elders of GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere shalom to Yakin bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. Shalom.